Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for She Hulk Season 1, Episode 6, Just Jen. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos my vast video library pops that appear just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And also, if you can, hit that like button and the share button as well. And if you feel like gambling, you can hit that little bell down below there, and YouTube may or may not notify you when I come on live again next. So, best thing to do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com and you can take a look at the schedule that I attempt to keep time to. I was a bit late today. It's work, honestly. But most of the time, I'm on time. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well on there as well. Welcome everybody. Yeah, again, sorry I'm late. It's work. It's kicking my ass this week again. But let's get started, shall we? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Giving you enough time to hit pause, whatever you need to do. All right. So, even though this was a low key episode this week, there was a lot of shit that was actually given to us, to tell you the truth. And by a lot of shit, I mean a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of allusions to things, a lot of things that were mentioned that if you're not a comic book fan, you're probably not going to recognize what those things are. And that's what I'm loving about this show. And this is something that I've been talking about for the last 5 episodes, is that it's what She-Hulk does best. It brings in all the little things of Marvel and touches on everything, if you will, and I mean just lightly touches. Doesn't need to fold things into it. Doesn't need to become a bigger item, but they are bringing things in this episode. Mutants, vampires, yeah, and I'll get into it in just a minute. So Jen, of course, gets invited to a wedding because, as she says, weddings happens at they happen at inconvenient times, like right in the middle of the last half of your or the last third of your season. And so that's what she's going to do. She's going to go to the wedding, and also she wants to go as She-Hulk. She wants to try out some of the new dresses that Luke has made her and all that kind of stuff. So she goes to the wedding, and it's a high school friend of hers that she's kind of lost touch with a little bit. And she's gonna be a bridesmaid. And Lulu is something else, really. She doesn't want She-Hulk there. She wants Jen to be at the party, not She-Hulk, Jen. So what does Jen do? She goes into Jen mode and decides to stay there. But who also has been invited? Well, actually, not really invited, kind of invited herself as a plus one to one of the groomsmen, is Titania. So she's there, and she's really there just to pretty much fuck with Jen and, you know, make her life miserable. The B story is actually fairly interesting. So the B story, uh, we have Mallory Book and Nikki. Uh, Mallory decides to borrow Nikki since Jen is going to be out for a divorce settlement. It's actually superhuman divorce, is what this is, because there's a guy named Craig Hollis, also known as Mr. Immortal, who has faked his death quite a few times to get out of marriage. Um, and for those of you playing at home, Mr. Immortal is actually a mutant. So that's where the mutant part comes in. And he also was one of the founders of the Great Lake Avengers. So he's literally an Avenger in the comics, which is funny that they're doing this here. It's a great little B story. It really is. It's fun, and I loved what they did. They even mention one of Hollis's wives that he had, his first wife actually, Baroness Cromwell. Now, Baroness Cromwell in the comics is a vampire, which is going to make sense because, we're bringing in Blade, We're bringing in Werewolf by Night, things of that nature. We're bringing in the supernatural stuff too. And again, like I said, this is what She-Hulk does best. She brings in, or I should say, the comic brings in a little bit of everything and just touches on it briefly. Doesn't have to dwell on it. It can just present it, and not even present it fully. It can just do a tangential reference, if you will. There's a Loki reference in there, in the on the website that they're looking at. It's actually the town that female Loki couldn't get out of. I can't remember what it's called, but it's actually in the website, that Intelligentsia. And speaking of Intelligentsia, that website that Nikki and Mallory are looking at ends up being, in the comics, well, really what it was, that was uh, a group that was put together by the leader, uh, and quite a few other villains like the Tinkerer, Egghead, the Red Ghost, the Wizard, the Mad Thinker, Modoc, Doctor Doom, the Chameleon, Trapster, Mr. Sinister. All these guys came together and made this group called Intelligentsia, which was supposed to be a group to basically cause strife, if you will, across the world, and also increase their their coffers, and make them a little bit better. So really, by changing this over into a website that's called as a web as Nikki called it, a website for hateful man babies, which again is also another poke at a lot of the toxic people that have been slamming this series and other female led series as well. Um, it's pretty funny. It really is. It's a nice little thing. But aside of all that, we see that there is some email exchange going on in kind of like a dark web forum. We see that Nikki actually catfishes Intelligentsia and signs up, is able to get in, and sees that Jen is being targeted. There's death wish or death threats, all kinds of stuff that are going on there. And we see a email coming from Hulk King, wondering when the next phase of the plan to get blood from Jen is going to happen. And we see this industrial looking kind of needle being put together and then put into a case that has a radioactive label on it. Um, I'm going to call this out right here and now. I'm going to say that Hulk King is going to be General Thunderbolt Ross, is what I'm thinking is going to be that. And I think we might have Red Hulk by the end of all of this. That's where I'm thinking we're going with this, is that we're going to actually have Red Hulk in all of this. And it's going to be interesting because William Hurt has passed away. Do I don't think it's the leader. Jody, no, I don't think. I know the leader was um so Samuel Stearns, the guy who played Samuel Stearns in the Incredible Hulk movie with Ed Norton, has actually been brought back. He is going to be the bad guy in the Falcon and the Winter or excuse me, the new Captain America 4 movie, New World Order. So he is going to be the bad guy in that as the leader. And you're not just bringing this guy back and announcing it at D23, a couple of weeks before we get the Intelligentsia. So I'm sure we'll see the lead. We might see the leader, or we might see a glimpse of him in this, but I'm fairly sure it's the Red Hulk. It's General Thunderbolt Ross that we've got going on here. I don't think Hulk. Well, I mean, I don't think Hulk King is going to be. He could be the leader. Yeah, that's possible. That's a possibility. But yeah, that's where we're going with all of this. The Intelligentsia is actually responsible for Red Hulk, and a couple others as well. Jody says, so they won't be using him on She-Hulk. Oh, well, I guess Thunderbolt Ross is a nice consolation part. So having Thunderbolt Ross become Red Hulk also plays into the whole Thunderbolts as well, because I'm fairly sure that we haven't seen the full lineup of the Thunderbolts. Even though they announced it at D23, there was a Red Hulk that was missing out of all that, and I'm fairly sure that's what we're getting. There seemed to be a hole in that picture that we were seeing that was given to us. So it's gonna be a lot of fun on that one. Um, yeah, it's I'm actually Tim Blake Nelson is the name of the actor who played Samuel Stearns, Dr. Samuel Stearns in 2008's Incredible Hulk. And yes, he is going to be coming back in 2024 for Captain America: New World Order. So yeah, that makes a lot more sense too. Really. Um, and what else here? I'm actually scrolling through some of my notes here. So yeah, it's that's pretty much about all I've got on my notes there. So we finally have at the very end of all of this. Oh, and by the way, Ched ends up being the DJ at the party at the wedding, which I thought was pretty damn funny. And Titania, of course, ends up starting a fight with Jen while she's in human mode and she's drunk. Um, and Jen forgets for a second how to actually turn into She-Hulk because she's that drunk. But when she does, she ends up mopping the floor with Titanium. The thing that bothered me about that whole fight scene, the one thing that made me kind of go, "What the fuck?" was that we see She-Hulk punch Titanium. We actually see it in slow motion because you see, her getting punched in the side of the face and her face move. But then later on, Titania slips on an ice cube and goes face first into the ground and smashes the veneers on her teeth. And I'm like, Wait. So the punch, She-Hulk's punch didn't do anything to your mouth, but you falling face first onto the ground breaks your veneers on your teeth." Okay, sure. I did love that she, gets so pissed off that she steals the wedding cake and takes off. Oh, and by the way, I'm fairly sure that Josh is a member of the Intelligentsia as well. The dude who has been hitting on her at the wedding. I'm fairly sure that Josh is working for the Intelligentsia, as sad as that may be. But yeah. Yeah, I did love that Ched yells out wedding fight. Having worked a couple of hundred weddings myself in a previous life, wedding fights are not that common where it's a thing where it's a wedding fight. You do get drunk people and you get disgruntled stuff that happens, but you never have a full on out and out fight. It's fairly rare. I would say about maybe 10% of the weddings I've been to that does is there a fight, and then it's over with really quickly. There's a couple punches thrown, someone usually falls to the ground, and it's over with. So, um, Josh, Jody says, "Yeah, that was weird. I would have thought that She-Hulk punch would have been the one that broke them." Yeah, exactly. And Jody says, "I thought Josh was a member of the wrecking crew in disguise, but he could be working for Intelligentsia too, though." Yeah, yeah. Yes, the veneers were a rule of comedy. I know CBM, but it was one of those things I was like, "Come on, man. Don't dumb it down for us." Oh, and by the way, we still haven't seen Daredevil as of yet. So those of you on the East Coast who stayed up till 3 a.m. and then went, "Fuck," sorry, you know, just get up early in the morning like I do, and then you just watch it that way. Instead of staying up late, you go to bed, then you just wake up early, and then yeah. Jody says, I also suspect Madison with a Y, but not where you think it is also not what she seems. So yeah, that was the other thing a lot of people were talking about too, is that she shows up with a human heart in her hand. And yeah, so how did she get that human heart in her hand? And how did she get out of that dimension? I mean, supposedly she didn't give her blood to that demon and she gave someone else's blood, but yeah, who knows? Who knows? There's a lot of different things that are going on in this show that are just I mean, there's setups for a whole bunch of different things. And again, this is what is great about these Disney Plus series is that you can set up all these items and then you can build them into movies. That's what they've been doing, with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which ends up becoming Captain America and the Winter Soldier, is you set up US Agent. US Agent is now going to be in Thunderbolts. We also had Valentina, who's been recruiting people throughout both the movies and the TV series. She's also going to be in the Thunderbolts. So this is a perfect way of doing this. It's a perfect vehicle for doing this. It's going to fuck with people who don't have Disney Plus and haven't seen all the series, but usually the movies are standalone anyway, and you don't have to worry about that. So, Jody says, also, do you think perhaps Nikki Ramos is also a sleeper agent and really working with the bad guys? No, I don't think so. No, she just really, really wanted to see the super suit action. That's all she's interested in adventure. What she's interested in. I did like the way she handled the Mr. Immortal case by sitting there on the table and metering out all the different rewards that he was going to give his ex-wives and husbands. That was actually pretty good. They did a good job on that. Yeah, I actually enjoyed the B roll a little bit more than I did the A story. I guess you could say the B story was better than the A story this time around, but it was still all fun. And again, we didn't have a stinger at the end, so we had no end credit stinger. And if I remember correctly, the showrunner said there's 2 episodes that don't have it. So these are the 2 episodes that don't have it, and then we have 3 more episodes to go. Remember, so this is episode 6 out of 9. Um, so our next ones, we're getting Daredevil at least in one, maybe 2 episodes, and then of course the rest of them should have stingers as well. CBM says that Mr. Immortal case made me laugh so hard. Yeah, when he jumps through the glass, I mean, you see it coming too, because he's just kind of like, and then he gets up and he grabs his hat. That's the thing that made me laugh too. He grabs his hat and then runs towards the window, and that's when I started laughing. Um, I'm wondering, the one thing I want to know is if they actually took a look at Hudsucker Proxy. So Hudsucker Proxy, great, by the way, Coen Brothers movie and also Sam Raimi movie because they worked together. The Coen Brothers and Sam Raimi worked on that, and Bruce Campbell's in it too. He's got a little bit role in there. Charles Durning as the head of the company in the very beginning actually gets up on top of the table, the boardroom table, and runs down the table. He's this fat little dude, and he's like running down the table, and he jumps through the window, and that's exactly the same run and from the same angle shot, same angle as the Mr. Immortal scene, which made me laugh. And I was like, I'm wondering if they actually just kind of use that as reference because it's actually a brilliantly shot scene, and it's a classic as well. So yeah. Jody says, "Okay, I guess I'm being a bit paranoid and suspecting everyone in preparation for Secret Invasion." Yeah, yeah. Well, see, for me, when I was looking at the email, the first thing I saw this morning, I thought I saw Hulkling instead of Hulk King, and I was like, "Holy shit, Hulkling! They're bringing that in already." Who is part scroll, part human, so that was my little I actually had to rewind it for a second. I'm like, oh, Hulk King. Okay, got it. So yeah, that kind of you know, played with my mind a little bit on that. Um, so yeah, good episode. And again, low key, but the thing is they don't have to all be this huge knockdown drag out things that are going on. What if those people in the evil lab were scrolls? They might be. It could be. It's a possibility. Um, but yeah, I'm fairly sure whoever's trying to go after the blood is actually Thunderbolt Ross, and oh, and going back to your comment, Jody, about sorry, who's going to play him, Clancy Brown, since William Hurt has passed away. I don't know if they're going to go Clancy Brown. I think they're going to go a bit younger, not too much younger, probably someone in their 50s, maybe 40s, somewhere around there. Um, but yeah, I think that's where they're going. I was actually fairly shocked to, when I heard that William Hurt had passed away. So that was, one of those things. He had cancer, never really told anybody, and passed away fairly quietly. So yeah. Jody says, yeah, you could have something there. Maybe this is how they'll bring in Red Hulk. What about will Liv Tyler come back as her Red She-Hulk? Possibly, because I mean that's also part of Intelligentsia, if I remember correctly. I think they're Yeah, I think they created her as well, if I'm not mistaken. My mind's a little hazy on that one again. CBM says, "Well, they are self-contained episodes. I'm fine with the sitcom format in it, and that made me very surprised for the drama at the end of the episode." Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone wanted to see William Hurt return as the Red Hulk, but unfortunately, nature had other plans. So, yeah, this does have. I love the comedy format on this. It's actually really good, and I love that Jen, talking to us, the audience, and breaking that fourth wall. And again, like I said, this is way before Deadpool was doing it. She-Hulk was doing this all the time. If you go back and take a look at the old 90s comics, the Sensational She-Hulk, the covers are fantastic. They're freaking amazing, and they were all about pop culture. They really were about pop culture. So there was a point in time, there's a big to do about Demi Moore posing naked on the cover of Vanity Fair, naked and pregnant. And side view, it's an iconic pose. There's a there's actually a She-Hulk cover of that, with She-Hulk doing that same pose only with a beach ball, a green beach ball. It's really fucking funny. And a comic book store that I used to go to was selling it near mint condition for like I think 120 bucks, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's where we're at. CBM says she's so meta about it, making reference to TV jargon. Yeah, I know. I know. That was one thing I loved about She-Hulk. It was very cheeky, very in your face, and just really funny. It really was. It didn't take itself seriously. It was self-referential, but it also brought in a lot of deep cuts of Marvel stuff. And it was a fun book. It was just a really fun book. You can tell Byrne was having fun with it. He really was. Subsequent writers who've come after him, have had fun with it. Dan Slott, I mean, as one of those people who's written on this as well. And I highly recommend that people go and take a look at the reference, the source material, and you can get, the the trade paperbacks and all that kind of stuff. Jody says, "Yeah, the fourth wall breaking on the show has actually been pretty fun for them." And the thing is, it's not overdone either. It's maybe once or twice an episode, and that's what I kind of like about it too. It's not overly done, um, and that's what you need out of all of this. You don't need to really overdo it. And I do like the whole thing at the very beginning with, yeah, weddings are very inconvenient. She turns to the camera and and she actually mentions about the where we are in the series, that's how inconvenient it is, or it comes in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next week again as usual. I mean, this series is a gem. Once it's done, I'm probably going to go through and just burn through all the episodes back to back to back, because this is kind of the highlight of my week. Now that Harley Quinn is over with, I'm saying this episode, this season, this series, there we go, is the highlight of my week of the stuff that I watch. It really is. It's just fun. It really is a lot of fun. So, with that said, what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow is going to be The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Saturday is going to be a threefer. You're going to get the first 3 episodes of Andor. Star Wars Andor is what I'm going to be covering. Sunday may or may not happen. I don't know at the moment yet, but it might be the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it. Monday will be House of the Dragon. Tuesday will probably be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I don't know what I'm doing as of yet, but we'll figure something out. Wednesday will be Andor, episode 4 of Andor, and then we roll back around again to Thursday to She-Hulk. So there we go. Jody says, yeah, though I wouldn't mind if they put post credits in every episodes though, and also more Mark Lynn Baker. They need to get Bronson Pinchot to be Jen's uncle from Europe. Bronson Pinchot is kind of weird. He really is. Remember when he went through that whole bodybuilding phase? Yeah, that's all I can say. There's just some weirdness that's going on with him, and he was on reality TV series for a while. There's some weird shit that's going on. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. Um, Jody says, "Nice. Can't wait to get your take on Andor, so that it'll actually be on Saturday and not Saturday, but really Yes, that's correct. I put it. I actually switched out the my schedule. So if you go and take a look over at suspendedfanimation.com, you'll see the schedule up there. I changed it out. I was going to do that yesterday. I was going to do episode 1 yesterday, and I was just so damn tired. And also, it made more sense just to do the back to back to back episodes rather than just trying to do one episode. And then, yeah. So there we go. So with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the rest of the night. Thank you to everyone who joined me tonight in the chat. And thank you if you made this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. So one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I put up there. I change it out every week. Also have all the links to my social media and all the links to my pages as well. Jody says, "You freaking rock, Dennis. I love that you're celebrating stuff that you enjoy." Thanks, man. Yeah, I don't like I really don't like doing hate reviews, and I've said this before. It's just not fun. It can be fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is stuff that you can totally have fun hating on. But for the most part, it just becomes a slog. And yes, I know I could get more viewers and blah 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 by going that hate route, but I really just don't want to. It's also draining, is really what it is. It's just spiritually draining. Yes, I know, new agey, huh? No, but still, there you go. All right. With that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow for Lord of the Rings, The Power of the Ring. The Power of the Rings. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, everyone. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up having to go to a wedding on a Thursday. Who fucking puts a wedding on a Thursday? I mean, really, a Thursday. Anyway, thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night. Stay safe, be well, take care. Wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, and get the boosters as well. The new Omicron booster is out there. Make sure you pick it up. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your night, and see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.